In front of a stunned Doha crowd, New Zealand, a team ranked 101st in the world, outplayed Costa Rica for 90 minutes. Wave after wave of attacks, a stunning finish from Chris Wood, and a performance nobody had seen coming. The All Whites might not have qualified for Qatar, but they walked off that pitch leaving behind an imprint born in the Pacific, where their team quietly dismantles their island neighbours in the dark corner of our footballing planet, and where they have been building a new team to shock the world in 2026. This is the story of a tiny football nation that might just be the next great underdog at the World Cup. When New Zealand put 3 past New Caledonia in the final qualification match for the World Cup, it would have been a strange feeling. For the first time in the region's history, the best Oceania nation would qualify for the tournament directly. No more trials, no more fighting tooth and nail for a World Cup ticket in Mexican arenas or the crippling desert heat in Bahrain. Every 4 years, the Kiwis would find themselves thrown to the wolves before having had a chance to find their footballing rhythm. New Zealand has always had to create their own, but this time the beat feels different. They will be bringing a squad shaped by this landscape, off and on the pitch, and born from the generations of players before them who bursted onto the scene in 1982 and went undefeated in 2010. Because something strange happens when New Zealand leaves the sandy shores of the Pacific behind and steps into the footballing light. New Zealand's journey to South Africa was like a fairy tale. On the one hand, it would be the first World Cup they had been to for almost 30 years. But on the other, this was a nation with only one professional football club. And here they were, drawn to face Italy, a country that has lifted the World Cup more times than New Zealand even has professional teams. The odds were stacked against them. But so were they for Chris Wood when he packed his football boots in a bag and travelled to the other side of the world to play in England. Today, he scored 20 goals in the Premier League, leading the race alongside Haaland and Salah, and leading the line for his national side. Wood had stepped out of the dark, seemingly out of nowhere, mirroring Winton Rufer, the Kiwi striker who quietly led the previous generation to the World Cup in 1982. And his club to European glory. On paper, New Zealand isn't a footballing nation, but take a step back and a story starts to blossom. Its players have a knack for the unexpected, and it's resulted in a new generation spread across the globe. Cacace making waves in the Serie A, Garbett bowling in the Eredivisie, goalkeepers in the Championship, and ones tipped for greatness in the Premier League. Midfielders from the frozen north in Norway to the Portuguese sunshine. Players can be found in every corner of our world, but more importantly, you can finally find them at home too. With the establishment of New Zealand's second professional team, football development has doubled, and the results are starting to take effect. New Zealand football has grown up. But even when New Zealand football was in its infancy, the Kiwis were able to bring a little magic to the game when they were given the opportunity. And opportunities have been few and far between for Oceania's strongest team. So when Winston Reid glanced in an injury-time equaliser against Slovakia at the 2010 World Cup, they would have even shocked themselves. A goal that resulted in celebrations that reverberated all the way back across the world. Could it be possible for the New Zealanders back home to fall in love with the round ball game after all? Before the tournament had kicked off, the All Whites captain Ryan Nelson had spoken about the importance of belief, and how when the All Blacks play for their nation, the match is often already won the moment they start performing the haka. He wanted the team to embody that same spirit, to not let the fear of every other nation's superior quality creep into their minds, to ignore the voices of the footballing world, mocking the fact some of the players still had day jobs. All of that emotion came out during the celebrations for the goal against Slovakia. The team almost fell into the 5-meter deep moat that surrounded the pitch in Rustenburg. In a strange way, they were once again on their footballing island, completely alone on their journey, and the energy they took into this performance propelled them further than they had ever been before when they faced the Italians. In the tunnel before the match, the teams couldn't have been more different. It was like black and white. It would be the team in white who would have the last laugh. Of all players in the world, the ball had deflected off Ballon d'Or winner Cannavaro's back and into the path of Gold Coast United player Shane Smeltz, who poked the ball past Buffon, and New Zealand led against the world champions within minutes. But if that wasn't crazy enough, the All Whites managed to repel virtually anything the Azzurri could muster against them for the remainder of the game, having chances to win the match along the way. A soft penalty is what would eventually bring Italy level. A young and inexperienced Tommy Smith had tugged on the shirt of De Rossi, but he wouldn't have cared when the referee blew the whistle, and the most unforeseen result in World Cup history had just become a reality. And New Zealand would go into the record books as the only team to leave the World Cup in South Africa undefeated. While Ryan Nelson's story from his vast football experiences had brought them back down to earth and helped the team focus on survival against all the odds, it was the young talents that had brought the sparkle that pushed them that little further. The 2010 squad was a perfect blend of youth and experience. And if anything, the squad bound for 2026 is built in the same image, but this time everything's been dialed up. Chris Wood, he was on the bench in 2010, and the young 18-year-old turned Italian defenders inside out after coming on as a substitute. Now, he's the country's all-time top scorer and leads the line as the Premier League veteran. And the young defender who gave away the penalty, Tommy Smith, has been on a football journey like no other since that moment. One that came full circle when he lifted the first ever trophy won by a New Zealand club back home. Both of them are still here, and both of them will be looking to write the next chapter in the national team story together. This time, the youngsters on the bench and on the pitch are different. They're not just passionate players chasing a dream. They're professionals, representing clubs of real quality around the world. And each one carries a story, a footballing journey shaped by their New Zealand roots, a journey few others would ever take, or even understand. Take Francis de Vries, a left-back who couldn't find a professional contract at home, so he left, first to Sweden's lower leagues, then to college football in the United States, from amateur fields to unknown clubs, all for a simple chance to play. New Zealand footballers have always had to do it the hard way. But it's also what's given them a hunger to succeed. And when the whistle blows in 2026, they will channel the players of this nation's past. There won't just be 11 players, there'll be one team, forged by struggle and united by belief. How do you think New Zealand will do at the World Cup? Do you think they'll be able to take it a step further and get out of the group stage in 2026? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Have a great day and goodbye.